Honeymoon murder suspect Shrien Dewani will be extradited to South Africa in 2 weeks. The millionaire businessman is expected to arrive in Cape Town on the 8th of April, where he will then appear in court to face allegations that he ordered the killing of his 28-year-old wife, Anni, in November 2010. He has engaged in a marathon legal battle to block extradition, but 3 British High Court judges rejected his latest appeal earlier this month. Joining us now is the Department of Justice spokesperson, Mthunzi Mhaga. It's good to have you, Mthunzi. Thanks for coming in.
Morning, Len.
This is good news for us. Finally, we are able to let our justice system work.
Yeah, I've been camping on this studio, you know,
I know.
just to ventilate the issues in view of the protracted legal process. But we are relieved that the matter is finally reaching finality. However, we will only rejoice when justice prevails, when the trial proceedings are underway in the Western Cape High Court as soon as he lands in the country.
Is there anything else he can do? Is that it? Is it over? Or is he going to be on that plane, or is there another avenue for him to go?
In as far as the national levels of court in Britain, he has nowhere else to go. But he can still approach the European Court of Human Rights and raise issues of human rights violation. But there is no indication that he will explore that avenue. That's why we are in touch with the legal representatives of him, as well as the Home Secretary, because you must remember now that the matter is out of the hands of the National Prosecuting Authority in South Africa and the Prosecuting Authority in Britain. It's dealt with by the Department of Justice, which is the central authority in extradition matters. We liaise with the Scotland Yard, the Interpol, South African Police Service to ensure that his return to South Africa is a smooth one.
Okay, so let's stick with the story that he is coming, that he's not going to appeal and go through the European courts. How does he come back to South Africa? I mean, what happens once he gets to the airport? And I think a lot of people thinking the same thing. Is he under very strict guard at the airport? I mean, is he considered a criminal at that time? How does it actually work? I mean, it's something that we, I suppose, don't really know much about.
Many people always struggle with this. He cannot be referred to as a criminal until he's convicted. But the movement from UK to South Africa, I will restrain myself in commenting on it for security reasons. But because of the peculiar nature of his condition, we are working closely with the Scotland Yard, with the Interpol, with the South African Police Service to make sure that he flies into the country. Upon landing in South Africa, if he arrives in the morning, he will be taken to the Western Cape High Court. But if he arrives late, he will be incarcerated at a medical facility because of his medical condition, after which he will make a court appearance when, on the first appearance, he will have all his rights explained and he has a right to apply for bail too.
Is it his duty to get to South Africa, as in is he responsible for his air ticket? Does he buy his ticket to come to the country, or is it, how does that work?
It's the South African government that wants him to come to the country. So it is our responsibility to make sure that he gets here.
Now, so you say that he will be kept in a medical facility, so that is where he will be accommodated throughout the trial.
Upon arrival, he will be taken to that medical facility, but then when he appears in court, the issue of his further incarceration, it will be determined by the court, because remember, when you are remanded after the court has adjourned, you are remanded either in custody or out on bail. Now, the court will make that determination, but there are arrangements that have been made, which was part of our undertaking in terms of or in compliance with the extradition order of the 31st of January. Now, what will happen is that the court will then make an order that he be kept in that medical facility because of his condition. And we've already agreed to that when we made the undertaking as the South African government.
I mean, this the medical treatment is obviously a very big issue because, again, transporting from the UK to South Africa on this aircraft, I imagine that there are arrangements that he will be accompanied by some medical expert, because, you know, who knows what might happen on the plane, and that's a reality, unfortunately.
Of course, on his flight to South Africa, he will be accompanied by a nurse, a medical doctor, and law enforcement officers. Because of importance to us is to ensure that his return to South Africa is a smooth one, so that we are not accused of having acted in a manner that is untoward, that will frustrate the whole administration of justice, because we made an undertaking that he will be treated fairly in South Africa, because we're a constitutional democracy whose legal system is recognized internationally. As you will recall, George Luca was just extradited from Cyprus because of the tireless efforts of our prosecuting authority, law enforcement, Justice Department officials, who had to ensure that we succeed in so doing. So even in this one, despite it having been quite a protracted legal process, but at last we are confident that he will land on our shores on April 8th, and we'll see justice manifestly soon to be done.
All right, let's talk about the case now, because we'll go through the charges. Dewani is facing charges of murder, conspiracy to murder, defeating the ends of justice. I mean, these are very, very serious crimes. If, in fact, he is found guilty, what does his sentence look like in South Africa under our law?
Emphasis on if the event of a conviction. The mandatory sentence is life imprisonment. But if you are able to present mitigating factors to a presiding officer to persuade them to deviate from the mandatory sentence, you could get another custodial sentence, which is not life imprisonment. But you'll recall that there are 3 accused persons that are sitting in jail serving sentences, so it's only fair that he also goes through the same process. But I will have to wait until those preliminary procedures in the Western Cape High Court unfold, and that will be in the purview of the judge who will be assigned to look into the matter, prosecuting authority and law enforcement and the defense of Mr. Dewani. Our role as the department will go as far as him, us making sure that he lands in our country, will then step back and give it over to the NPA and law enforcement.
Well, I mean, that's my next question. I mean, the NPA, the Justice Department, working tirelessly since 2010 on this case. Here we sit in 2014. Are you guys confident that your case is strong?
Minister Hadebe has been quite supportive of the whole team that has been working tirelessly since January 2011. It was on the premise of the confidence that the NPA has actually instilled in the law enforcement and ensuring that they build a formidable case against him, and convinced the courts in Britain, the appeal courts in Britain, to ensure that they actually give that order that he comes to our shore. So I am confident that the NPA has house in order, law enforcement have a formidable case, and we'll see justice prevail. But in as far as the merits and otherwise, I'll have to restrain my comment, because I'm in the Department of Justice. I'm supposed to be objective.
Yeah, you know, we've seen our justice system really under the spotlight, especially with the broadcasting live of the Oscar Pistorius trial, and the South African public has really gotten an inside glimpse of how it works. You know, one of the issues obviously is the tampering with evidence, some things going missing, and that is a great concern which can put massive gaps in a case, and one can only believe that Shrien Dewani is arriving here with an impeccable defense team in place. Are there worries, I ask again, with things like this?
If they have impeccable defense lawyers, we have the best prosecutors, we have the best investigating officers that are able to present a sustainable case against any other accused person. And you can see Advocate Harenel, he's the one who was responsible for the conviction of Mr. Celebi. You have Billy Downer in Cape Town, who were responsible for the conviction of Shabra Sheikh. So we have one of the prosecutors with ability to display excellent and brilliant prosecutorial expertise. And obviously all of us are learning from the Oscar Pistorius case, and whatever is a blemish which people may perceive to be that, in as far as us moving forward, I am confident that we'll have a justice prevail and justice manifestly seen to be done in the case of Mr. Dewani.
We certainly have set a precedent broadcasting the Oscar trial live. Will we now be able to watch the Dewani trial live?
A possibility exists that media will make that application, and a precedent has been set, and obviously they'll make reference to that in their bid to ensure that there's a live broadcast in the Western Cape on Mr. Dewani's case as well.
Yeah. No media houses have asked for this as yet? Have they approached it?
For now, well, we haven't received any requests, but I know ENCA had applied to flight his arrival at the airport, but I don't know how they know which airport is going to land, because that information is sensitive and will remain confidential, and for security reasons, of course.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I think we've answered a couple of questions I'm sure that viewers have been asking themselves since they heard that Dewani will be coming back to South Africa. I saw it on Sunday. Is that when the news broke? That
Yes,
he will
yesterday
be coming?
morning
All
at
right.
9 o'clock.
Okay, so that's the latest from the Shrien Dewani coming to South Africa. We're taking it that he is coming and that he's not going to be appealing still. He's still got another avenue, but there's been no word that he will be going that route. It's always a pleasure having you, Mthunzi Mhaga. Thank you very much for being with us. He's the Justice Department spokesperson. Let's take a break. We'll see you after.